Sayadaw will explain the fifth pair of Niyana and Avarana, cause of liberation and its obstacles. The Niyana, cause of liberation, in this case is Dhamma Vavatthana, meaning resolution of good and bad, discriminating the good and bad, the knowledge of resolution of good and bad. And Avarana, the obstacle is Vicikiccha, skeptical doubt about of a fact, a truth of the matter, because one is this is something beyond one's realm of knowledge, beyond the reach of one's knowledge. One cannot reach a definite resolution and become doubtful about the fact of the matter as to its truth, correctness or incorrectness, whether it's true or not. So this is skeptical doubt, Vicikiccha, the fifth Avarana obstacle. This name, Dhamma Vavatthana, the knowledge of resolution of Kusala and Akusala, knowledge by which one resolves or determines which is Kusala, which is Akusala. And this is given as Dhamma Vavatthana Ariyanam Niyanam. This is because it is known as Niyana, that is the cause of liberation. With this Dhamma Vavatthana, resolution of Kusala and Akusala, is a cause for the liberation of the noble ones, Ariyas. Hence the name Niyana. As for the skeptical doubt, Vicikiccha, it gets in the way of stumbling block in the way of liberation or in the way of Dhamma Vavatthana. The reason for calling this or naming this as Niyana Varana, obstacle, is that one is skeptical about the truth of the matter, Vicikiccha, and hence this blocks in the way of Dhamma Vavatthana. It blocks the arising of Dhamma Vavatthana. It blocks the arising of the knowledge of resolution of Kusala and Akusala. And thus it is unaware of the way to liberation. Therefore Vicikiccha is called Niyana Varana, obstacle to liberation. People have to take food in order to strengthen their body for their physical health and to satisfy their hunger. So they have to take the food unavoidably. And also with food one can work for oneself and for the welfare of others. If not, one will feel weak and not be able to work for oneself and others. Therefore physical strength is necessary, and to build up physical strength one has got to take the food. And there are many kinds of food. Some food is suitable, some are not suitable. Some food is harmful, some harmless. And one has got to be able to differentiate between good and bad, wholesome and unwholesome food, poisonous and non-poisonous food. If you take unwholesome, poisonous food, then you are bound to get into trouble, can become sick and even die of it. So one has got to understand and be able to differentiate between good and bad. So one has got to be able to choose wholesome and unwholesome food. And if young people, there are young people in a household, the parents have to show them or give guidance as to which kind of food is nutritious, which kind of food is wholesome or not wholesome, and things like that. They should be able to explain to the young people so that they will understand which is wholesome and nutritious, and which is unwholesome, and which is not nutritious. So also in social dealings, the parents have to guide their children how to associate, what kind of people to associate with, and what kind of people are to not to be associate with. So they have to give guidance, just like giving guidance about food. And they are also guided what kind of air they should breathe. Fresh air, they should breathe. If they take fresh air, then they will get enough oxygen, enough fresh air, and this will be conducive to their health, and so on. Otherwise, they can get giddy and unhealthy. So if they do not understand, the parents have to tell them so that they can understand all these things, which is wholesome, which is unwholesome. And they should also be told which is blameless and blameworthy, which is suitable, which is unsuitable, which is appropriate, which is inappropriate. So they should, when they grow old, they will be able to differentiate between good and bad. If they abstain from what should be abstained, they will not get any harm. No harm will come to them. And if they take what should be taken, then they are bound to benefit from this. Just like taking food and breathing fresh air. So they have to understand this. This is the worldly example to show how one has got to follow the path of blamelessness and abstain from blameworthy behaviors. So in this way, if they have the knowledge to resolve good and bad, they will be free from harm. So also one has got to take this as an analogy in Dhamma matters, spiritual matters, be able to resolve between good and bad. It's about this expression Dhamma Vavotana. Dhamma of this Dhamma Vavotana is taken as both kusala and akusala, wholesome and unwholesome, or profitable and unprofitable. There are blameless deeds, ordinary lobha, for instance, ordinary greed, ordinary desire. And there's another kind of desire, excessive desire, or serious form of desire or greed, self-centered greed. If the activities, deeds are based on the self-centered greed, then this is called akusala, unprofitable. If it's blameless, then if it is not based on self-centered greed, then it becomes blameless. And at times one is dissatisfied with some certain things, events, anger, aversion will arise, dosa. If the deeds are based on this dissatisfaction, anger, then this is called akusala, unprofitable, unskillful. If it is not based on anger, then such deeds are known as kusala, profitable, skillful. At times we are not clear-cut, confused, deluded, bewildered about the truth of the matter. This is called moha. Then such behaviors lead to akusala, they are blameworthy. If the deeds are based on bewilderment, delusion, such deeds are unprofitable, unskillful, blameworthy, akusala. So one should be able to resolve, differentiate between these things. And if one's deeds are based on knowledge, instead of this moha, this is a reverse of moha, not deluded, but with knowledge, with understanding, then this is kusala. If it's not based on understanding, if it's based on bewilderment, confusion, delusion, this is akusala, blameworthy. On the other hand, if the deeds are based on understanding, knowledge of the truth, then it is kusala, profitable, skillful. So one should be able to differentiate between kusala and akusala. This is kusala, this is wholesome, profitable, skillful. This is akusala, unprofitable, unwholesome, unskillful. In this way, one should be able to differentiate between good and bad. So this is how one cultivates knowledge of the resolution or knowledge of differentiation, and knowledge of differentiating or discrimination between kusala and akusala. If one is free from akusala, then one is blameless. If it's akusala, then it will be blameworthy. Blameless deeds, kusala deeds, profitable deeds leads to profitable benefits, like taking wholesome food. If one takes wholesome food, one is bound to reap the benefits in the form of health, strength, and satisfaction of one's hunger. So in this way, one should be able to understand or discriminate or resolve between good and bad. So also, if the deeds are based on lova, dosa, moha, there are two kinds of this greed, hatred, and delusion. Ordinary greed, hatred, and delusion, which most people possess. Everybody has. You can. One has got this ordinary lova, dosa, moha. Another person, nearby, or other people have this lova, dosa, moha. So if they are not known or detected, then it is not blamed by the society. It's blameless because it arises in most people. But when it comes to excessive lova, dosa, moha, which is unwholesome, then if exceeds lova, dosa, moha, exceeds ordinary lova, if it's self-centered, then it will become blameworthy. The society will blame or criticize such a person as, oh, this person so and so is greedy, so very self-centered, looking for one's interest only, and not think about other people. So in this way, people will blame such people, such persons, self-centered persons. So if one has self-centered lobha, this one will reap the unwholesome benefits. So if one is not aware of such self-centered greed, then this will lead to, if one is unaware of this, this will lead to anger, dosa, ill will, and this since lova dosa, excessive lova dosa, blameworthy, this will lead to unwholesome deeds. Then, as much as one is greedy, there can arise also this anger, a serious form of anger, and as far as society will blame, oh, this so-and-so person is greedy, so-and-so person is very short-tempered, he has a lot of ill will, he is very stupid, moha, and although he is a grown-up, he is not even as wise as young people. So in this way, the society will blame such persons who have much lobha, dosa, and moha. So these blameworthy behaviors by body, speech, and mind will leave are called akusala, unprofitable, unskillful, and unwholesome. If one is free from these unwholesome deeds, then the wise people will praise. One will be praised by the wise. And as much as one follows this blameless ways, one is bound to reap the wholesome benefits. And if it's blameworthy, akusala, one will be blamed and criticized by the society, and this will, as much as one follows this path, one will become detestable, gross, and undesirable. So in this way, one has to possess this knowledge of resolution of good and bad, which is very important. At this point, kusala needs to be explained. That is profitable, skillful, wholesome deeds. Now there's a simple analogy or example. When one is giving away something to a receiver out of generosity, an act of generosity, this is kusala, simply taken as kusala, wholesome, profitable, skillful, blameless. Now what are these things which we call blameless? Let us see. Now if one is clinging to one's material properties, belongings, then one will not be willing to give away one's belongings to the receiver, to others. So now you are giving away something out of generosity to the receiver. In this way you are free from greed. You are not clinging to that property or belongings which you are giving away. Moreover, you are not looking to the benefits, insignificant worldly benefits, worldly gains, such as fame and gain. You don't want to be famous because of this. Therefore, you are free from greed in this respect, in this perspective. And this is blameless deeds, kusala. And as regards the receiver, you want the receiver to be fulfilled with his or her or their needs. You want for their welfare. That's why you are giving away these things, so that they can use them or take them, as the case may be, so as to cause physical and mental happiness, to make them happy, because they are able to partake of the food or possess the things or utilize the things that you are giving away. So in this way, whenever you reflect on this, the happiness of the satisfaction of the receivers, you are always satisfied. Then you will be free from anger, aversion, ill will. This in itself is metta, loving kindness. So you are giving away with loving kindness, with metta. If the receiver will not get this, the material, then they will suffer. They will suffer from lack of this material. Now you are giving away these things, so they are happy. So every time you reflect on this, you are satisfied. So in this way, because they are free from suffering, because you know that they are free from suffering, you have compassionate feeling. This is karuna, another wholesome mental state. Because it is free from dosa, ill will, aversion, this in itself becomes blameless. Then, because you are satisfied with the fulfillment or satisfied with the prosperity of others or the receivers, you have no envy, avarice, you are not jealous of their fulfillment. So in this way, and also you are giving, when you are giving away things, you are giving in humble manner. Thus in this way you are free from pride and conceit, mana. And by giving away these things out of act of generosity, as an act of generosity, you are aware of the benefits of the practice. You are You are free from skeptical doubt because you have faith and confidence in the benefits of the practice of this generosity. For some people, they don't believe in the action result of the actions. That good action will not bring about good benefit, or bad. They think that good actions will not bring about good benefits, and bad actions also will not bring about any bad benefits. So when one dies, they think that when one dies, that is the end of it. This is the belief held by some people. So what is the result of this belief, of this concept? They will not abstain from unwholesome deeds because they don't believe in any life hereafter. They don't believe in the future existence. So they will not abstain from unwholesome, unskillful deeds. Neither will they perform wholesome, skillful deeds because there's no future existence to reap such benefits, to the consequences, wholesome consequences of one's generosity. Because they don't believe in the future existence, they will not hesitate to do unwholesome deeds, while violent deeds. So, being free from this is pure and wholesome. One is blameless and pure. Just this act of generosity, very simple act of generosity. You can just imagine, if you have all these concepts, ideas, this amounts to wholesome, skillful, and blameless deeds, pure and blameless. And you want to help these people, help others. So you are cultivating or spreading metta and karuna. And as much as you do this, you are strengthening the wholesome mental state of metta and karuna, loving kindness and compassion. And you don't want others to suffer because of your fault. In this way, you want others to be free from fear, free from danger, free from harm, such as killing, stealing, and so on are something to be afraid of. People are afraid of being killed. People are afraid of being robbed, stolen. So you are, by cultivating, strengthening this metta and karuna, you are causing fearlessness, free from danger, fearlessness in others, and so they are free from harm and free from dangers. So in this way, such deeds are pure and blameless. So this is cultivating loving kindness and compassionate feeling. In this way, one should be able to have understanding, and also with the cultivation of knowledge, with the cultivation of the mind, your mind becomes pure and blameless. No, there will be no obsessive kinds of defilements in the mind. The mind will become pure and blameless. And if you are able to cultivate knowledge, you will become free from the latent forms of defilements, dormant types, dormant tendencies. And as much as you strive to be free from latent tendencies, you will become pure and blameless. Such are kusala. So the opposite of this is akusala. When one performs kusala, wholesome deeds, one should do this with clear mind or pure mind, clean mind. For instance, you are performing dana, generous act. You must have a clean mind or clear mind, not like giving away like children do sometimes. They do it without any motive, without any understanding. And also, the dana should not be done like those people who do it without any understanding, knowledge, and very light manner, lightly, without knowledge. So one has got to have clean mind. Suggests this pure deed leads to wholesomeness, profitableness, skillfulness. As much as one's active, one's dana is pure, one is bound to reap the wholesome benefits. And as much as kusala is done, as much as it is wholesome, there's bound to be the benefits, the wholesome results. So one is not deluded in this perspective. One is clear-cut. This is knowledge or understanding. So this kind of understanding must always accompany one's act of one's profitable acts, such as beginning with the simple act of generosity, dana. Then such an act, a wholesome deed, will be high-level wholesome deed. Of course, such wholesome deeds, however much you do it, will bring about benefits, but such benefits are with limits, have limits. There are limits to it. And such wholesome benefits are also transitory, impermanent. They don't last long. So one should not take delight, and one should not become attached to such impermanent benefits. One should aspire to realize the genuine, everlasting benefit in the form of the peace and happiness of Nibbana. That is a genuine happiness, genuine benefit, lasting benefit. So one has got to understand this when one is doing the simple act of dana. This is doing a generous act of dana with knowledge. Then if it's done with knowledge, there will be no delusion, bewilderment. One will be clear-cut. One will not be confused. One will not be deluded about this act. So one has got to understand this. There's a saying in our traditions: if you just give away one fistful or handful, not fistful of dollars, but fistful of things, if you spread it out, I think this is given as when you're sowing seeds. You are bound, if you sow the seeds, a handful of seeds, you will reap a cart full, a bullock cart full. Those two, of course, we use bullock carts. A bullock cart full, or a lorry full, in the modern sense, of seeds, or the whatever cereals that you are sowing. That means there must be this chirana, that is volitional act. Only with good intentions will you get the real benefit. And when you are performing kusala deeds, your aspiration should be to attain the genuine peace and happiness of Nibbana. If you do it with such understanding, this is a high-level profitable deed. So you can just imagine how much wholesome deed, profitable deed you are all cultivating with your practice of mindfulness of every moment, every second of your time, being free from these unwholesome roots of lobha, dosa, moha, greed, hatred and delusion. Therefore, this Dhamma Vavotana, which has just been explained, the resolution of good and bad, or the differentiation, the understanding to differentiate the truth of the matter, or kusala from akusala, is the path to liberation, is the way, course for the liberation and of the noble ones. And so that with the understanding, with the knowledge of resolution of good and bad, kusala and akusala, they are able to be free from unwholesome deeds and be able to perform wholesome deeds and realize the peace and happiness of Nibbana, and be able to be liberated from suffering. Therefore, this Dhamma Vavotana, resolution of kusala and akusala, or knowledge of the resolution of kusala and akusala, becomes the cause of and becomes a niyana, which is a cause, meaning cause for the liberation of the noble ones from the realm of suffering. If one has skeptical doubt, vicikiccha, about the fact of the matter, which is kusala, which is akusala. Is it kusala? Is it wholesome, profitable? Or will it lead to wholesome benefits or profitable consequences? Or is it akusala, unwholesome, unprofitable? Will this lead to unwholesome benefits, unwholesome profit, unwholesome, unprofitable consequences? So one has a skeptical doubt about the fact of the matter, whether this is kusala or akusala, whether they are beneficial or non-beneficial. So this skeptical doubt blocks or hinders or obstructs this knowledge of the resolution of kusala and akusala, good and bad. This skeptical doubt, if one entertains a skeptical doubt, one will not be able to cultivate knowledge. Not knowing the truth of the matter, the truth of the thing, truth of the events, they cannot get, and he or she cannot come to a definite resolution, because he or she is wavering, which is correct, which is not correct, which is which, and so on. So long as one is hesitant, one is hesitating to accept things, so long as one cannot come to a resolution, definite resolution, so long as one is doubtful of the truth of the matter, one will become one. This will serve as a stumbling block to the arising of this knowledge of the resolution of good and bad dhamma, vavutthana. Hence, this skeptical doubt is known as niyana varana, obstacle to liberation. So with this skeptical doubt, if one is skeptical, one is doubtful, one will not be able to abstain from unwholesome deeds. Neither will one be able to perform wholesome deeds. Not abstaining from unwholesome deeds, one will fall into the inferior states. And not being able to perform wholesome deeds, one will not be able to become liberated from the realm of sufferings. What has been explained up to this time is ordinary occurrence or ordinary things like acts of generosity and so on, ordinary things, ordinary practices. Now when it comes to the realm of the insight practice, when we are practicing the way of mindfulness, satipatthana, being able to know the resolution, being able to resolve that this satipatthana is wholesome or unwholesome, being able to differentiate between the wholesome and unwholesomeness of the satipatthana, and the knowledge to differentiate whether this is a supporting factor, this supports vipassana or not. So such knowledge of resolution is called niyana dhamma vavutthana, which is the cause for the liberation from realms of suffering. The knowledge of resolution as to whether this is vipassana jnana or whether this supports wholesome deeds, wholesomeness, these two things. The knowledge of resolution of this vipassana jnana and the kusala deed which it supports should be explained in detail, in more detail, both from the theoretical and practical aspects. As for today, it is almost 1 hour, so let us stop here, and this will be explained in the following days. That's all for today. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.